I am excited because Christmas is going to be here before we know it, and today I have a video creating some beautiful Christmas DIYs for this new season. Hey there, my name is Yami. I am your Latina next door. Welcome back to Mi Casa, where I share high-end home decor and DIYs on a budget, as well as extreme before and after room transformations. If that's something that you'd enjoy, please make sure to give this video a like and subscribe so that you too can become part of the familia. So this is the first video that kicks off my brand new DIYs for this Christmas season. I have some look for less dupes, some high-end home decor ideas, as well as some painting. This video is sponsored by Cricut, and one of the decals in this video is going to be available in my online shop so that you can recreate the exact same piece that I made in this video. And I will also be sharing how to incorporate new artwork for the season in a very inexpensive manner. All right, let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing here is mixing some black and blue paint. I really want to create a very dark blue, like a midnight blue for this painting. As you guys know, I'll be doing a lot of navy in my Christmas decor this year, so I don't have a paint that's navy blue, so I decided to go ahead and use what I had and blend it myself. Now the color of the background is totally up to you, but I am trying to recreate a higher end piece that I found online. I won't show you that piece until the very end because I do want you to see the piece that I create first, and then I'll show you the dupe that I'm trying to replicate so that you can see if I got close to it or not. Now for this, we're just going to use some regular poster board that I got from Dollar Tree, along with some of the foam board that they have as well. And this is what I mean when I say this can be a very inexpensive DIY. You can use regular poster board as your canvas backdrop. And honestly, that is what I'm doing. I had it from Dollar Tree. I cut it down to be an 18 by 24 size because that's the frame size that it's going to be going inside. And these do come in different colors. You can get them already colored. Again, I wanted this custom navy midnight blue color, which is why I went ahead and mixed those two. Now, if you're going to be using paint like this for a background, I suggest that you use something like chalk paint instead of acrylic paint because it will give you a lot better coverage. Now while that dried, I opened up my Cricut design space and I began creating my decal design. Like I mentioned, this is going to be a dupe, and what the dupe had was peace, joy, and believe. For the fonts, I chose MSP Mincho. For the scripted font that I chose for joy, it's named Baby Child. I got it to the size that I needed, I hit weld, and then I sent it to the Cricut maker. I also wanted to share that if you've been thinking about getting a Cricut machine, I do have a code YAMI10 for 10% off any Cricut machine that you would like to purchase off the Cricut website. I'll have the link in my description box below. Then I began to weed it, and Cricut actually has this really cool little bright pad that shines light through your vinyl so that it's a little bit easier for you to see the individual little cuts so that you can weed it a lot easier. After it was weeded, I applied the transfer vinyl to it, and then I adhered it onto my dried poster board. My transfer tape was a little new and it gave me a little bit of trouble to remove, but as you can see, the paint actually adhered very well to the poster board and I didn't have any issues with the paint coming off. Next, it was time for some paint. So I took my acrylic paints out, put them on my little palette thingamajigger. I don't know what you call it. But I put them out and I began to customize my sign. Now, using the original artwork as reference, I began to paint on all of the little details that remained. I started off with the greenery, just painting stems and leaves. Then I progressed to the flowers. I painted poinsettias and berries and mistletoe all over the painting, and all I'm using is simple acrylic paint with a thin artist brush. And then finally I came back in and added some dimension with some shadows and some highlights, as well as adding some little gold dots throughout the centers of the poinsettias. And that was pretty much it for the artistic portion of this DIY. As far as the frame, I had this frame for a while that I had painted and distressed on all the raised edges. So even a thrift store find can work, or something that you already have at home. And all I'm going to do is insert the poster board into this frame. However, I don't want it to be permanent because I want to be able to change it out whenever I want to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some tape and I am going to just kind of do a double-sided sticky back, just kind of roll it over on itself so I can attach the poster board onto the foam board, and that will be like my sturdy backing. And all I did to attach it temporarily was add a little bit of washi tape to the back, and that was it. And if you're curious at what the original looked like, I had found this piece at Kirkland's for $40, and I was able to recreate it next to nothing. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. Tell me what you think of my dupe below. Alright, so for this next DIY, it is going to be another dupe. And again, I'll show you in the end what the original looked like. However, you guys know that I love creating my very own patterns out of like complete scratch on my Cricut in order to just design unique things. So that's what I'm doing here. So what I'm doing is I took the shape of the diamond from the tool section on the left hand side from Cricut Design Space, and I began sizing them down and placing them in order to create this pattern. And yes, this will take a little bit of patience, and you do want to use your grid lines whenever you create a custom piece like this that has more than one shape or element to it, because you want to make sure that everything is spaced out evenly. Now, once I finalized my design, I welded it so that it would stay together no matter how much I moved it or resized it. Now, as you can see here, I have pulled up a large rectangular piece or shape, I should say, in Cricut Design Space. Now that's going to be relevant in just a minute. What I'm going to do now is I am going to copy and paste this pattern repeatedly and make sure it's nice and straight so that I can create a nice pattern that's going to go on that rectangle. Now I'm going to make sure that it does not go past my rectangle length and it fits just inside of it. I am going to duplicate it and I'm going to bring my original line down, and then I am going to take away one of the ones from the original line so I can stagger them as you see right here. And all I'm doing is simply cutting and pasting over and over again. And now I'm adjusting the pattern on the rectangle so that everything looks nice and even. Now don't worry, if this is too complicated for you and you still wish to make these, I will have this SVG file available for free in my printables library on my website, and I'll link to it below. You'll have to register and then it will send you automatically a link with a password to get into my private library, and you will have access to create this on your very own Cricut. Once I welded everything so that it was nice in one cut piece, I sent it over to my Cricut in order to cut. And all you need to do is use some cardstock. You can have just simple white cardstock, or you can use those really pretty cardstock scrapbook pieces that you find at your local craft stores. Now this is a very intricate cut piece, so it will take quite a bit of time to cut. Then when it's done, you're going to want to remove the outer piece. I did have a 12 by 12 for this, and then you're going to flip over your mat and pull it backwards, and you'll see that all the little cut pieces will stay on your mat. All you need to do is scrape them right off to remove them. And just so that you can see the difference between a white one and something a little bit more glam, I decided to do the same pattern on a glitter cardstock piece that I had gotten from Hobby Lobby. Now, not all of the little pieces came off of this particular piece of paper, but all I did was use the little weeding tool and just punch them right through. Now I have cut and measured this to go perfectly and precisely on the exterior of this clear glass cylinder vase that you can get at Dollar Tree. And honestly, I just wanted this to be as simple as possible. I just took a little bit of clear packing tape and that was it. You just have to meet the two ends, tape them together, and you have something custom to change up your vases for this season. And if you're wondering what I was duping this bisque votive holder. Now this is a set of 3, and obviously they're like ceramic or porcelain, but I really loved that middle pattern as you see there, and that's what I tried to replicate with these lanterns. I know a lot of you have been wondering what I will be doing as far as Christmas, because you know I did that Christmas in July video where I shared the different color schemes, and yes, I am pulling out the tartan fabric. I'm really loving this fabric, you guys. The blues and the greens are absolutely wonderful, and I bought this fabric at Hobby Lobby a little earlier this year, and it's time to make some cushions for my sofa. And of course, the first thing I did was start with the face panel of my pillow. In order to always keep my pillow covers as cost effective as possible, I don't put any zippers on it. I like to do the envelope closure on the back of it where it's just 2 different flaps. and it works every single time. So the way you want to do this is you want to size out your fabric to the exact size of your cushion. So if you have a 16 by 16 cushion, you want to cut a 16 by 16 piece of fabric. I know that kind of goes against the whole leaving a little bit for the seams, but trust me, you want it to be a little bit tighter than your actual cushion. Once you've cut your front panels, then you want to do your back panels, the two smaller ones. And you always want to make sure that when you cut your fabric, you are cutting it to match up to that front panel if it has a pattern like this. You do not want to have any janky lines. That's what's going to make the difference in this and make this cushion look high end. So the way you determine the length for the two back flaps is you add your front panel length. Again, let's say it's a 16 by 16 cushion, which this is. What I do is to determine the length of my other ones in the back, I'm going to be adding 16 plus 6 divided by 2. So whatever length you have for the front panel, you always add 6 and you divide by 2. In this case, it would be 11, so I need two 16 by 11 pieces of fabric. So each pillow cushion cover has 3 pieces of fabric, and I start by adding those back flaps on to each of the ends of the front panel. And oh yeah, look at that seam, baby. Once the 2 pieces of panels are attached to the front panel, I hem the 2 back ends of the envelope pieces. I know I've shared how to do this before, but I always get new viewers for my videos, so I want to always make sure that I explain this process when I can, in case anybody hasn't heard my previous instructions on cushion covers. Then once the hems are done, I sew down both sides of the cushion cover, attaching everything together. I like to run the seams through my serger as well so that they don't continue to unravel. And yes, I know my thread is white, but it's on the inside. Nobody sees it, and I like to avoid threading this machine at all costs, so white it is. Next, I want to add a nice gold detail, so I'm uploading an image that I have screenshot from the internet, and I'm importing it as a simple cut file. Once it takes me here, I just select the areas that I don't want to be included in the pattern, and then I just select cut image on the left and I can start working on it. All I have to do is upload that brand new image into a new design, and I can resize it any size I want and then simply send it to cut. For this, I decided to use iron-on glitter vinyl. I had no idea how it was going to turn out, but I was glad I definitely tried it. When I sent it to cut, I selected everyday iron on, and I did make sure to go ahead and put the mirror on. You don't have to because this is a symmetrical snowflake, but if it wasn't a symmetrical piece that you were cutting, you do always want to make sure your mirror is on when you're using iron-on. Now, I am not gonna lie, this was probably the most difficult vinyl I have ever weeded in my life. Totally worth it, but it definitely got some getting used to. I laid out my pillow cover and I centered the snowflake on it. I did put a little bit of cardboard underneath on the inside of the pillow so it would separate it from the back side of the pillow, and I just used my Cricut Easy Press, set it to the right temperature and time, and set it on there in order to adhere the pattern onto the pillow cover. Once it was cooled, I removed the clear plastic and it was ready to use. this last DIY is going to be the easiest. We're going to be using these ornaments that you can find at Dollar Tree, or you can use any clear ornaments that you might have on hand. First thing we're going to do is we're going to change the colors of these, and that's what I do like about these ornaments, is that you can customize them to any color scheme that you want, especially if you have like a very unique color that you want to use for your season. Now I'm just using regular acrylic paint in a midnight blue, and all I'm doing is I'm moving it around until the entire ornament gets coated on the inside. Now I am going to set that aside to dry, and I am going to create the words that I want to put on my ornaments. And I am just choosing simple words that we usually see during the Christmas season. Now I'm really liking this baby child font. It is one that I previously purchased. However, I am saving these ornaments in another free SVG on my website, so you can recreate these yourself. I spaced them out and welded everything and sent them over to the Cricut. Now, since I'm doing blues and golds, I decided to go ahead and use some gold vinyl. I weeded them, cut them individually, and then I added them onto each ornament very carefully. I finished adding the decals, and once they were all done, I added a little ribbon to the top of the ornament and hung them on the tree. Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below which one of these DIYs was your favorite. Don't forget to use my coupon code to get your discount on Cricut's website. I have a link to Cricut's website in my description box. Thank you again, Cricut, for partnering with me on another video. I hope you're well, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week with another home decor and DIY video. Until then, adios.